Hello, welcome to another episode of Bunny Hugs and Mental Health. I'm your host, Todd Rennebaum, and I've got another wonderful episode for you today. Hey, let me ask you something. How do you think you would handle being 18 years old and finding out you were going to have your hands and feet removed just below the knees and elbows? Well, that's my topic today. I am speaking with Amalie, Henze, and her sister Anais. Amalie, I'm going to screw up her name so many times, but Amalie, her body went septic. She has Crohn's disease. And she went into septic shock, and she woke up from a coma to find out that she was going to have her limbs removed. So while we get her perspective, and we also get her family's perspective from her older sister. So anyway, hey, please hit like and subscribe and share and all that kind of stuff that you're supposed to do, that everyone tells me I'm supposed to be saying. And and enjoy this episode.
Well, when I woke up, because this all happened maybe 10 months ago now.
What?
Yeah, so it's all really recent. But I remember after I kind of came out of my coma and stuff, one of my sister's best friends is a nurse. And she literally looked at me and she was like, "You could be TikTok famous now." And I was like, that's a good point. That's a good point. So she kind of put it in my head to post about it and stuff. But yeah.
So when you came out of your coma, did you realize you weren't going to have limbs?
Not really.
You came out of your coma, you're like, I'm going to be TikTok famous, and then you realized you had no limbs.
Well, it was I woke up and then the doctors wouldn't let me see my hands or my feet. So I was weird. Because at this point, they weren't amputated yet. They were necrotic. So they were just black and basically, I was half zombie.
I see.
Yeah. So I wasn't allowed to see them. And then I think it was maybe a few days after I woke up, then they were so we're going to have to remove a few things. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. Not what I expected.
I don't mean to laugh, but you just smiled and said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Wow, you are pretty easygoing.
Well, I think I was just glad to be alive at that point. So I was like, I mean, if that's what you got to do, then you got to do it.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
What was there a time that you were grieving having your arms and legs amputated? Or are
honestly,
you still processing it all?
I think I'm still processing it all. I think I don't know. I've always been okay, that kind of sucks, but my family and stuff have been really supportive through all of it. So I haven't really been upset about it. I just more so get annoyed sometimes.
Oh God. I can imagine.
It's over this, the silliest things though. Sometimes I'll be looking in the mirror and I have a really cute outfit on, but then I'm this was 10 times better if I had arms to go with it.
Well,
yeah. And then that's when I'm damn. But
arms are kind of an accessory.
Yeah, they're more of an accessory at this point. Yeah.
How about when you want to pick your nose?
I get my
must
mom
be.
to.
What? Oh, she'll actually stick her finger up there.
If she has to. I remember one of the first things I said to her. I was like, "How am I gonna pick my nose now?"
Right, that's where I went to right away.
Yeah, I can itch it, but sometimes you have to get in there, and you need a good fingernail. So
you do.
Yeah.
Do. I guess. Could you get a prosthetic finger? I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, when I get my hands in the future, then hopefully that will be a good help with the nose picking. But yeah, otherwise, sometimes I just use a Q-tip if I'm on my own. I just use a Q-tip.
Right. Yeah. They have to invent a Q-tip with like a nail.
Yeah, one with like a little point at the end.
Yeah. So you are going to be possibly getting some prosthetics.
Yes, that is. Am I allowed to say that?
Is it a surprise?
No. I recently made like a TikTok talking about what I don't have my arms yet, and I like kind of called out the insurance company that wouldn't approve the claim, but they recently did approve it.
Okay. Well,
So
this won't be out for like a month or more anyway. So.
Yeah. So hopefully before next year I'll have them, but I'm not too sure because it's a really long process to like learn how to use them. Like apparently it's a lot of like muscle memory and stuff, and like it's really hard mentally to get used to. And they're also supposed to be really heavy, so I'm also not prepared for that.
So
yeah, I think they're like maybe 10 pounds each.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm pretty small, so the doctors think that's going to be hard for me to like not get tired really quick with them because I'm built a lot smaller than a lot of other people who have amputations. So there's not really like specific arms built for people my size, which is kind of odd, but yeah.
Could you 3D print a lighter one for you?
Yeah, I've thought about that. My uncle has a 3D printer, and I was like, maybe like just something to like practice with, you know, because I have no practice really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe they do that. Maybe they do give you like practice limbs.
I hope so.
I have no idea though. Explain to the folks why you did get amputated.
So I have Crohn's disease, which is inflammatory bowel disease. And up until all of this, I was like really, really sick from it. I wasn't going into remission. I kept getting bowel obstructions in my ostomy. So that was like why I was in and out of the hospital a lot. And
what's your ostomy?
An ostomy bag is how I go to the washroom.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Why do I always think it was colostomy bag?
There's two different types of ostomy bags that I'm aware of. So a colostomy is like an ostomy bag made out of your colon. Oh. But since I don't have my colon, because I got it removed because of all my Crohn's complications, I have an ileostomy, which is basically the same thing, but it's made out of my small intestine. So I only have my small intestine.
I see. Because I mean, I know people that have irritable bowel syndrome and even Crohn's, and I mean, they're not in as bad a shape as you were even before.
No, some people are
it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was lucky to not agree with a lot of the medications, which was why I was so sick. Because, like, I think I tried like maybe 5, and none of them like put me into remission. So then I got the surgery for my ostomy to hopefully like help put me into remission because my colon and like my large intestine were so like damaged, but that didn't work either. So I just kept getting like really, really sick.
Is this a family thing? Do your siblings have any kind of issues?
No.
Wow, lucky.
Yeah, so I had like a great grandpa who I think had ulcerative colitis, but other than that, like nobody else in my family really has like IBD. So I was just kind of the lucky one. Yeah, right. I was the lucky one, and I got all the stuff.
Right, but you got the looks.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know what you're... Actually, no, I do know what your sister looks like. Yeah, you're both gorgeous. Sorry.
We're twins.
Get out of here, really?
No, we just look a lot alike. She says that I stole her face because I'm the younger one. She always is like, yeah, well, I had it first.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
So you there was no process where you were like, this sucks and life's shitty and it's fine if you didn't, but I'm thinking about me and what I would go through.
Yeah. I think it's definitely more so like recently I've been kind of feeling that way just because it is so like fresh. I think it was just very like, at first there's so much other things going on, like getting my legs and learning how to do that. So I was like distracted from kind of like the morning aspect of it. But now that everything's kind of like settled and I'm just like waiting now more so, I like get the feeling where I'm like, this is annoying and dumb, but yeah. Also in the beginning, I had some friends who weren't very nice to me during all of it. So that was also like kind of annoying.
What do you mean? What? Were they just tickle you and like you can't fight back or what?
No, like they would like say they would come visit me in like the hospital and stuff, and then they never did, and then they just stopped talking to me. And I was like, oh damn, I thought we were homies.
Huh.
Yeah.
So this has been kind of revealing as to who your true friends are?
Yeah. I mean, the ones that I kind of expected to stay with me through all of this did. It was only like a couple that were kind of weird, but
dudes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Knew it.
I hate to say it, but yeah.
Dudes.
Some are
Nothing.
good. Some are good.
I don't want to bash dudes, but they could be weird.
Yeah.
And you seem very close with your sister. Like it was like I emailed to ask if you'd be on the podcast, and actually your sister responded, and I chatted with her. But now that I'm saying that, I'm realizing you can't really type. But you can go voice to text.
I can. It just takes me a while. Like my phone still registers like my residual limb, so I can still like type and stuff, just not as fast as my sister. She also she works in a field where she emails a lot, so she's much better at like wording things than I am. She also has like
bossy.
I mean,
No,
I feel like all older siblings are to a certain extent. But she's like worked in the modeling industry and stuff, so she also knows how to kind of just like professionally email people and like take care of all that kind of stuff. Whereas this is very new to me, like getting attention online and stuff like that. So I'm still new at it.
Me too. And I've been doing it for a few years, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm very awkward and weird. But anyway, so actually we never really quite finished how or what happened. So you have Crohn's disease, you had a bowel obstruction, and then...
Oh, okay. So I was having bowel obstructions like once a month, which was not fun. And then in October of 2023, I went into the ER because I thought I was having another bowel obstruction. Like the symptoms were very similar to it. It wasn't actually a bowel obstruction. It was my intestines splitting open.
Huh?
And yeah, so that's how the sepsis kind of started.
So you're kind of like pooping inside yourself.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I thought I was just having another bowel obstruction, but yeah, so the intestines split open, and then obviously it got into my bloodstream, and then I went septic, and then septic shock. But the reason that it kind of all happened was because the doctors didn't realize that my inflammatory levels were like not there, meaning my Crohn's actually was like starting to calm down. But because I was in the hospital so much for bowel obstructions, they just kind of assumed that's what was happening again, which is why they didn't screen me for sepsis or anything. They just wrote it off as a bowel obstruction, which is how I ended up getting like even worser because...
Worser?
Worser? That's a word, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
Worse.
Worse.
You just got worse.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but that's how I ended up getting worse. And then, so it was kind of a little mix up on their end.
And are you holding them responsible, or are you just like, shit happens?
I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So how's your family? Well, actually, your sister's there. I'm curious how your family is taking it. Are you grieving? Is this a hard process for you to deal with mentally?
Honestly, like, we all knew before she was awake what was going to happen. So we kind of had time to process it on our own and like as a family before she was told. So honestly, like, our main concern originally was how she was going to wake up and react. So, I mean, we all got to deal with it preemptively, and all of us are very problem-solving people. So as soon as we kind of heard, we went right into, okay, so the house needs to be renovated. Like, the carpet needs to come up so she can have a wheelchair. We need to get a chairlift in. We need to get a ramp installed. We need to get a wheelchair. We need to have the bath safety. We need to have, like, all of these things. So that's just kind of where our mind started to go. My mom also used to be a PSW, so she already had a lot of that knowledge, which really helped us. Like,
What's a PSW?
Personal support worker. So usually in like old age homes, or she used to do house visits for elderly and like help transport them and get them ready and stuff. So she had a lot of knowledge of it already, which I think honestly helped us way more than we initially realized. But so obviously it was not something we wanted to hear, but it was kind of good in the sense that we knew before she did, so we didn't all hear it at once. So we could just be there to support her. I was the one in the room when Amalie was told.
Yeah, I think she was more upset than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just. So it
You're
was
like,
myself.
great, she's gonna get all the attention now.
A little bit, but yeah. No, I was in the room with her when the doctor came in, and the nurse sat with me, and like, I was trying not to cry. He was telling her kind of why this has to happen, what the timeline was looking like, and that type of thing. And once kind of the news was done, everybody left, and then it was just her and I. Amalie had like a breathing tube in and like a monitor on her head, and she literally just looked at me and went, just shrugged, just was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. So then it kind of caught me off guard, because obviously we're expecting a bigger reaction of some sort, especially with being 18 and then realize just being told that you're not going to have hands or feet in the next couple weeks. But
Right.
yeah, no, she took it fine.
Just shrugged and said, "What's for supper?"
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, what's next? So yeah, no, I think it brought all of us obviously a lot closer. We had a fundraiser, and like all of my aunts and uncles came and helped renovate the house, because all of them are in the trades. Yeah, we redid the entire two floors in about a week and a half, so she could come home for Christmas. So it was like every day everybody was at the house. We were ripping something up or putting something in, and so it was a big process.
It's like trying to. You just instantly have like a new normal, and it's completely different.
Exactly. Yeah, and just trying to get kind of used to that as quickly as possible. But yeah, I think my dad's finally, again, because similar to how Amalie just said, is like everything's kind of calmed down now. So and everyone processes things at different paces, right? So I think my dad's finally kind of having it sink in a little bit. My mom's
as a parent, I'd be probably more upset than my kid too. I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. So he's kind of dealing with that. My brother's good. He just likes to be helpful.
How old is he?
21.
Oh, he's older.
21.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in the middle of both of us. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, so he's home. He lives with my parents and Amalie, so he's around a lot. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I think being able to all deal with it at different stages kind of helped the long process of everything. And
Well, I'm fascinated. Because, I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, is like to talk about the mental struggle that you all went through and stuff. And you guys are just like, yeah, it was fine. We just, You know,
Yeah.
we ordered some Popeyes and
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
which is also good. I mean,
Mhm.
well, I mean, of course that's also good, but yeah, that's just fascinating to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because she was been sick for 5 years up until this point. So, like, we already had a lot of understanding of what she needed in that aspect. So it wasn't that much of a learning curve. It was just a learning curve for the physical aspect of it of like, okay, how much can you do on your own right away? How much do we need to support you? And it's just been, I think, also really helpful for all of us seeing her go through all this transition. Like, she was really quick to pick up her her leg prosthetics. Like, she was walking way faster than most patients are. She does her makeup on her own, which is a lot of her TikTok videos, and like, we're just here in the background for support. So it was kind of nice to just not to call you a baby, but it's kind of like when you have a baby and it's like learning new things and watching it, and it's super exciting and super happy. That's kind of what this has been like.
It's like house training a puppy.
Kind of, yeah.
You rub her nose in it.
Schedules, and did you drink water? Did you eat? You know, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, are you still dealing with Crohn's on top of this now too, or is like whatever happened like?
Thankfully, after everything, my Crohn's decided to give me a break for once, and I'm finally in remission. We finally found a drug that's been working for me. So that's been really nice because I don't have to deal with, obviously, all of that on top of everything else. So.
Oh, good. Well, all it took was losing some limbs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that you're going through this, even though you don't seem sorry. But I mean, yeah, it's amazing. And then, so where do you think you got this great attitude about it all? Just DNA?
I really don't know.
Ignorance.
Maybe. That's probably makes the most sense to me. But yeah, I really don't know. I think it's just better to be kind of more positive about it than like really.
Oh, here they come for you.
I know. I'm gonna drag you away.
Well, like you kind of said. Oh, it's a neighbor. They're coming. Well, like you kind of said, it was like, which this is amazing. Which some people go through their entire lives trying to learn gratitude, and like you said, you just kind of said, you know, it was better than dying. So you were just kind of like, all right, well, we'll just cope with this. You're fascinating.
That's what I like to say. I like to say at least I have a really cool story now.
I mean, usually if I have a cool scar, I'm like, hey, cool. I get to show people my cool scar and tell them what happened. But yours is pretty extreme.
Mine's like, do you want to see where my foot used to be?
It used to be right here. I'm pointing, but you can't tell. Sorry.
Feel the energy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I've heard phantom. What is that called? Phantom pain or phantom?
Yeah, I get the phantom, like, sensation. So I feel like my hands are still there, but they're not.
Weird.
Yeah.
Brains are weird.
Sometimes I get it in my feet too, like where my feet were, but it's mostly in my hands, which is kind of cool, but also kind of annoying.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes like my finger will be itchy, which obviously it's not, but you can't really itch your finger that you don't have, so that's just annoying.
Brains are something else, man.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything that of course there's all the everyday stuff, but it wasn't like you weren't like a concert pianist or anything like there's nothing that you are really missing out on that you had a passion for? Wiping.
Not really.
I was passionate about wiping, man. I was so good at it.
I think one of the main things was like, I was like, oh darn, how am I going to do my makeup? But I learned how to do that again. And then, obviously, because of me being so sick, I haven't actually finished high school yet. So, I've had to take a step back from that, but I'm hoping at some point within the next year or so, I'll be back to school and stuff, and then hopefully figure out what I want to do from there. But I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
did.
football.
Yeah, I did originally want to be like a phlebotomist, if you know what that is.
No idea.
It's like the nurse that does blood work.
Oh, okay.
But obviously I can't do that anymore because you kind of need fingers to like feel for a vein and stick needles into people.
You can do it with your mouth.
I don't know how that would work.
I mean,
So I've had to definitely rethink what I want to do with my future. But yeah.
any options or thoughts or kicking around anything, or you're just completely blank?
Her prosthesis and her like rehab doctors are really trying to talk her into being a prosthesis, because how cool would it be as a new amputee to have the person fitting you for your prosthetics have 4 of them?
That is true.
It would kind of put it into perspective for them, and also be like, damn, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully give them a little bit of hope. And it's in the medical field.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to do
Right.
something in the medical field, but I just wasn't really sure what yet.
So you're getting
Yeah.
bullied into that.
Well, I wouldn't say bullied. There is one of my doctors, my endocrinologist, he is very adamant about me doing something in the medical field. Because he knows a guy who's a paraplegic who works in endocrinology, and he's like, that could be you. And I was like, okay.
I have no idea what endocrinology is.
It's like your adrenal levels. So like your natural steroid levels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Me not know body good. Well, I mean, that's kind of how I got into working with people in addictions and mental health. Was like, what was my kind of lowest moments kind of inspired me to help other people, or I don't know if I'm helping other people, but you know, I mean, I kind of was like, let's turn this negative into a positive.
Yeah.
And it's been really soul filling because, you know, people say nice things and you do help them out, and it's like, they don't have to go through what I went through now, ish.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping to do for people too.
I mean, this will have to go through physically what you went through, but yeah. And well, you just be an inspiration for them. You're like, oh, damn, life does go on after being amputated of something. I have a friend who has a prosthetic head.
Like a Barbie?
Sorry, I'm
I'd like to see that.
yeah. Well, he doesn't.
That's very RoboCop.
Yeah, he doesn't say much, but he just kind of lies there and stink. God, I'm such an idiot.
To touch on the mental health aspect of things.
Yes.
One of the things like that my mom's really struggling to find is support in that field. So like, yes, she's doing fantastic. Look at this face, but it's still good to talk about things with someone who didn't go through it with you to get a different perspective. But trying to find like a therapist or somebody that is willing to take her on has been a struggle. Most medical trauma specialists, it's for the nurses. So it's more, they're specialized in talking to the nurses about what they experienced versus someone who actually experienced them.
And even like amputees to peer groups, it mostly consists of older men.
Yeah.
Creeps.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Everyone we've met has been lovely so far.
Yeah, they've all been really nice, but even they're like, I'm sorry, I wish I could even like help a little, but they went through their thing much later on in their life than I did. So
Right. Are you in a way, okay, this might sound stupid, but in a way, are you glad that it happened to you younger than older?
kinda, cause I feel like because I'm younger, it's a lot easier to like bounce back.
To adapt and
I think it's easier to bounce back the younger you are. And I know like a lot of the people that were at the rehab with me that were older, I think they had a harder time mentally with all of it than I did. So I think just because I'm younger and I know I have so much more of my life ahead of me,
Right.
it definitely made things a little bit easier.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to put myself in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would prefer to be younger, which it sounds counterintuitive, but you would be able to adapt faster. Like if I were to lose all four limbs now, it would be a lot harder. Like that process of learning how to use the new prosthetics and stuff would be like so frustrating and hard. It's like, but for 40 years I could wipe my own butt or whatever, and so you're like, this is hard, but whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because I also know, because I have so much more time to get used to everything, then that's just going to be like my new normal, and then it's like not even going to be that much of a change, really.
Yeah, I could picture. This is a little revealing about myself, but I could picture me just getting good enough to do a couple things I want to do, and then I'd be like, I'm done. Like I can make a sandwich and wipe my butt. I'm not gonna get any better. I don't care anymore. This is too hard. So, plus, like you weren't passionate about something yet. Like maybe if you did go to school and you did become an endocrinologist or whatever you said it was, and then you lost your limbs, then it would be like, oh shit, this was my dream job, and now I was loving it. And now you don't know any better, maybe. So you're like, I'll just do something else, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe this was my way to find the purpose of what I wanted to do in my life. Like, going back to like the whole job thing, I do know that one of my goals kinda is raising awareness for sepsis and sepsis screening, because the reason I kind of went through all this was because they didn't screen me for sepsis. So I'm hoping that if we normalize screening for sepsis right away, then nobody has to go through what I did.
Right. And is that a common thing that people aren't getting
Unfortunately, whenever someone dies or like whenever someone dies from septic shock, which is usually like most of the time, the doctors will write it off as complications due to another underlying health issue. So if I would have passed away during the sepsis, they would have probably just marked it as like complications due to Crohn's disease, not septic shock, which is really sad. But I did get to meet, when I was in the hospital, the head of like Sepsis Awareness Canada, and she was very reassuring that they're doing their best and they're trying their hardest to make sure that it's more regulated and put into the hospitals.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what is the process of being tested? Is it like a long, expensive process? Like, why wouldn't they? Like, if it's just a 5-minute thing, a quick blood test, then why?
I'm pretty sure it is just like something quick and easy. Like that's also why it's like kind of annoying that they don't just do it right off the bat, because I don't even think it's as difficult as like getting an MRI. So
I don't know the process for an MRI.
You just lay in a machine.
But in Saskatchewan, there's like months-long waiting list.
Yeah. We're kind of the same here, because your MRI was scheduled a year ago, and it's in October of this year. Like, we're pretty backed up here too. But my friend, who is a nurse who helped us a lot through the process as well, her dad recently got screened for sepsis when he went in for a blister he had on his foot, and it came back positive. So it is just like a really quick and easy blood test. So like it is one of those things of like, okay, well, if you're already sending me for blood work and you know there's an issue, why not just be safe and add that to the list of things to be tested? Like if it's one more little like drop over here to see if it comes back. Yeah. Luckily with him, they caught it. No amputations required. He was all good and back to his running, but
Yeah.
yeah, when
He has an extra foot now.
yeah, it's probably growing still. I don't know, like a cactus.
You didn't want to be my twin.
This is morbid, maybe. I would want to maybe keep my limbs.
That's what. Okay, no, because I've had this conversation so many times. There's a guy who got his hand amputated on TikTok, and the doctor.
They did it on TikTok?
Well, no.
I'm
He's
sorry,
a
I'm just being
TikToker.
smartass.
But the doctors let him keep his like hand skeleton. Like he got to keep the skeleton of his hand, and he wears it as a necklace. And I was like, I couldn't have had like a necklace, a bracelet, some matching earrings. Like they didn't offer any of that to me. So
did you know to ask?
Well, I didn't know I could ask. But now I'm like,
is
I
he
could've, like,
American?
I think so, probably.
Maybe because he's paying for the processing.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, but still, I'd want it.
Mm-hmm.
Not morbid at all. Amelie's very fascinated by all of these things. So when she had her colonoscopies, she asked to stay awake and watch it, and then she was given photos of it, which are in this room somewhere, and which she looked at for a good while. And then I don't know if you're familiar with Coraline, that movie.
I've heard. I know.
Movie.
I've never seen it, but I know it. Yeah.
So it's a Tim Burton movie, and she crawls through this tunnel, and that's what she compared her colon to afterwards in those photos. Yeah, so she's a little too immersed into what the inside of her body looks like.
I'm very desensitized, to say the least. Like
right.
when I was getting.
Do you have ADHD?
I have been diagnosed once. They just didn't medicate me for it because I don't know.
You don't have to be diagnosed once. Sorry.
What was I saying?
Her medication.
ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, but I've been very fascinated. Like after I got a lot of my stitches and like stuff removed, I would always ask my mom to like show me pictures of what my scars looked like.
Sure, yeah.
So that I could keep like almost like a little document of like my progress. So on my mom's phone somewhere, there's like a hidden photo, and it just has like all the gory pictures from the surgeries that I asked her to take.
I'd be the exact same way. I've been diagnosed with ADHD, and that's most people aren't like us. I'm like, my body is a petri dish. Like, what is going on here? Oh, it even smells funny. You know, like I put a grinder through my finger once, and it was like, I was taking pictures and sending it to people, and they'd be like, stop it. I'm like, isn't this fascinating? And
that's what after I got my ostomy surgery, I was like texting my friends. I was like, do you want to see a picture of my stoma? Do you want to see what it looks like? She's so cute.
What's a stoma?
It's the piece of my intestine that's like poking out of my stomach.
And it's cute. Let's see. Whip it out.
I know, not right now. It kind of looks like a Swedish berry.
Oh, it's that small?
Mine is because I've lost a bit of intestine.
It'll show up somewhere.
Yeah.
I lost it. Oh, here it is. It was in the car under this. Never mind. Here's my found it, Mom. Pardon me? It was in your purse, is that what you said?
No, I said it depends on the person. Some people have like theirs are a lot bigger than mine, but I'm not judging. Everyone's stoma is beautiful in its own.
Oh my God. I don't know why I found that funny. It's like, are you stoma shaming me? Like, size matters.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad I reached out because, you're good shit.
Thank you.
and your TikToks are humorous. I mean, not all of them. Some of them it's you doing your makeup or whatever. But then you do find goofy sound clips and whatever. And are you proud of your sister?
I'm very proud of her. Again, we were anticipating a lot more difficulty with the news and a completely different attitude than what she's given. And I mean, I went through a big deep dive when I had to do a little bit of research onto septic shock, and she had a 22% chance of surviving. So that alone, you're a little miracle. Obviously, you are not meant to leave yet, and you're doing everything that you possibly can to enjoy your time here. So yeah, we're all super, super proud of her, and just trying to find ways to share her story, like with you, and we appreciate you reaching out. People's Magazine did a great article with her, and
I saw that.
The lady was super, super nice, and actually still checks in every once in a while. Scene TV, when she did that for them, same thing. We got a big email of the interviewer at the time was having a lot of difficulty in her life, and said talking with Amalie really helped put things into perspective for her, and like it came at a good time. So yes, very proud of her. We all are, and I'm just happy that she can help others as well.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating how resilient humans are. Maybe not all humans, but how resilient you are anyway. I don't know, it was like you stubbed your toe, you just kept going.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
All right. I mean, I don't have to renovate the house every time I stub my toe, but...
Yeah. I mean, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That would get expensive.
Round out that corner and it'll never happen again.
There you go. I guess maybe not. Maybe you don't know this, but would you have to live with a caregiver all your life, or do you think there will be times you'll be able to live independently? And
I think once I get my hands, that like a lot more of my independence is probably gonna come back. I'm hoping I don't have to live with a caregiver. That's my goal. I think I'll be able to
when you say caregiver, you mean your parents?
Oh, yeah. I'll be fine. I love my parents, but I can see me getting a little sick of them after a while.
Right. That's all the motivation you need to bounce back. Yeah.
But there's also a lady on TikTok who's also a quad amputee, and she has like husband and kids, and she's living completely independently on her own with her, I guess now family. But so it is definitely possible.
And she was a quad amputee before meeting her husband and all that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're gorgeous, and you're funny, and you're a lovely... You got great vibes. Like I said, you're a good shit. So
thank you.
I don't doubt that you will find a cool dude and
I'm waiting
do
for
whatever you want to do.
My young amputee hottie. That's what I keep saying. I'm manifesting it.
Wait, so you want to date an amputee?
I feel like it would be more relatable if I did. It's they're all old men, so I have to wait. Like I don't want to prey on some like young dude's downfall, but I just gotta wait for my time.
You know what? You just find some hot guy and
Just
cut his leg off.
Run him over.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet? Little fender accident, but she coached me through the whole process.
Well, I could set you up with my friend with the amputated head. He's around your age. The thing is, you can put whatever prosthetic you want on for him. Yep. So
make him look like Timothy Chalamet.
Ooh.
I was gonna say Brad Pitt, but he's like 70, so that's like my generation hot guy. I don't know what the girls are into now. I've never even heard of the guy you just said.
Timothy Chalamet.
I couldn't even tell you what he's been in, to be honest with you. Who do you like? Michael Cera. Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get, okay.
You are quirky. You are quirky.
My sister bullies me for it. I think
he's just dorky.
Yeah, he's charming.
Yeah.
And he's Canadian.
That's,
If you're a young guy and you find Amalie attractive, cut your hand off.
Yeah. Or your foot. I don't discriminate.
Your head, whatever.
Your nose, I don't know.
A nose amputee you would date?
Well, you can get like fake noses.
It would be easy to pick your nose then because you just hold it and...
Yeah.
Here, pick my nose for me. Oh my God. I'm so sidetracked. Was there anything that inspired you, like, or any person?
There's a girl on TikTok. She calls herself Glamputee. she's the one that is also a quad amputee with like husband and kids and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I say she's probably like my main inspiration during all of this, because she definitely shows that anything's possible. And she has a job as a OT.
What the hell's an OT?
Occupational therapist.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was testing you there.
Yeah. So I think she's probably my main inspiration, but other than that, probably just like my family and doctors and stuff for being very helpful during all of this.
It's not hard to get pregnant without limbs.
My body's been through too much. I don't want to push out a baby.
I was like,
yeah.
If you're using her as an inspiration because she had kids, I'm like, well,
no,
it's really.
I'd rather just have a bunch of cats.
Well, that's fair.
I'm a cat person.
Attractive guys out there, if you want to date Amalie, cut your hands off and don't want to have kids.
But lots of cats.
How about an amputee cat?
I don't know if that would be right to date them.
No, not date an amputee cat. I mean,
I've never seen an amputee cat, but that'd be cool. No, I mean, I've seen like the dogs that have like the little doggy wheelchairs. I've never seen a cat.
I've seen all types of three-legged animals, but
cool.
I did work with animals at one time, so that makes more sense. But
yeah.
Are you the youngest in your family?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so you already had all the attention.
Yes, a little. A little.
Like,
I feel like we all
she's the youngest and sickly.
Yeah. We all took turns?
Okay, I feel like you were like kind of doing your own thing most of the time, but then Zach was very like, and then it was me.
He was the boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone took turns until the next one was born. So your sister had like
not like
2
that.
years.
Yeah, not like that. Not like that.
Do you have your driver's license, or did you?
I had my learner's permit, and I was learning how to do that, and then, yeah, that's about it. I was a very nervous driver. My sister would take me to parking lots a lot, and I couldn't even get over, I think, like 30 kilometers an hour without being like, this is too fast. I'm going too fast. I don't feel safe.
Do you plan on trying to get your license?
I do want to drive. And I know it is possible to do it with prosthetics. And there's like a lot of funding in Canada to get your driver's license after amputations. It's just a matter of when I want to do that.
Do you remember the commercials? I could put my arm back on and you can't. Play safe.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, I'm going to find a link to that and I'm going to email it to you.
Okay.
It was like a futuristic robot thing. It was like
is it War Amps?
War Amps. Yeah,
War
it was a
Amps.
War Amps commercial. Yeah, it was a War Amps commercial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send it to you.
A robot. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
Be sure to subscribe and to like this video. You can listen on Apple Podcast and Spotify. This is Todd Rennebaum saying, make your beds and take your meds. Keep watching for more interviews with incredible people telling their stories of resilience and adversity with mental health and mental illness.